back twice in one day. I'm doing bedtime stories for my granddaughter. I'm doing read-alongs for my students. So we are on, remember, I'm using Project Gutenberg. They've got free PDFs that you can read for things in public domain. We're on Canto 17 of Dante's Inferno. But let's read a little bit about what's going on in this chapter. I just had it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Dear me, did I put it here? So sorry. I thought I was all organized, ready to go. Here we go. Here we go. So we're on the edge of the seventh circle. We've been there a while. Dante and Virgil, they need to cross this terrifying gulf and of air down into the. They're looking over the edge when we left it, and they're going into the eighth circle. To descend, they have to trust this creature, Geryon. He's a monstrous symbol of a fraud, a fake. Geryon appears and he rises from the deep. We leave at the last canto that they're peering over the edge and they see something coming up. So the description of Geryon, so this is going to be characterization. Face of a gentle man, which means he's deceptively kind. Body of a serpent, so you can't trust a serpent. Serpents are always in literature symbolic of distrust. You think about Adam and Eve and the serpent that tricked them in the garden. Paws of a beast with hairy claws, tailed arm with a deadly stinger. He's the perfect image of fraud, smooth and attractive on the outside, deadly underneath. We kind of come to not trusting beautiful people because what are they like? What's their character like? The usurers. Remember, we've talked about this word usurer as I've been teaching through times. These are money lenders. While Virgil, and in the Bible and in the Islamic faith, loaning money for interest is considered a sin. While Virgil prepares to speak with Geryon, Dante notices a group of damned souls nearby. They're the moneylenders who profited unfairly from interest. They sit beneath the burning rain of fire, swatting away flames like annoying insects. Around each neck. Now, it's interesting to me that this sin of all the sins is where we've stayed the longest. I'm curious about that. These pouches replace their faces. Their obsession with wealth defines them more than their humanity. There's a pouch that's decorated with the family crest. You know, like if you're Scottish, you've got a tartan plaid and you've got a symbol, like maybe it's deer or maybe it's arrows, and it symbolizes things about your family. So the family crest is a symbol of their greedy identities. Now here's action, the descent. Virgil arranges with Geryon to carry them downward. Dante, who's nervous, climbs onto Geryon's back like one boarding a fragile little boat. So Geryon doesn't look very fragile, but untrustworthy, right? The monster unfurls his wings and swoops out over the void, circling downward in terrifying spirals. So it's a scary escape. Dante compares the flight to falcons wheeling in the sky or boats slipping downstream, images that mix wonder and dread. So it's exciting and it's scary all at the same time. And they're brought into the eighth circle of hell where the punishments for fraud begin. So now we're into a new place. Themes, deception. Geryon looks trustworthy but hides deadly evil. Greed. The usurers wear their family crest like brands of shame. Fear and trust. Dante must place his faith in Virgil and ride the very embodiment of fraud. So this is a transition scene. You've got the fire above, the scary serpent coming up. It's supposed to be scary. And then the first glimpse into the pit of fraud. So now that we know what to expect in this chapter, let me get the story in front of me. You can be on the same PDF that I'm on. It is Project Gutenberg. And you click read now. It's the first one when you go in. When you do the Inferno, you search the Inferno, then you click on read now and a PDF will open. And you can go down and find Canto 16 and join us. It's on page 123. 17, not 16. I keep saying 16, but it's 17. Behold the monster. Now remember, they've been peering over the edge. We just left off. Let me go back. The last thing we just said in the previous reading, like one who rises, having dived to free an anchor grappled on a jagged stone, or something else deep hidden in the sea, with feet drawn in and arms all open thrown. So he sees this creature. So now we're going to jump on into the canto. Behold, the monster with the pointed tail, who passes mountains and can entrance make through arms and walls, who makes the whole world ail, corrupted by him. Thus my leader spake and beckoned him that he should land hard by, where short the pathways built of marble break, and that foul image of dishonesty. Dishonesty moving, approached us with his head and chest, but to the bank drew not his tail on high, but his face a human righteousness expressed. 'Twas so benignant. I've never seen benign written that way, benignant. To the outward view, a serpent was he as to all the rest. The rest of his body is serpent. They're describing him. On both his arms, hair to the armpits grew. On both his arms, hair to the armpits grew. So that's, he's just really furry. On back and chest and either flank were not, and rounded shield portrayed in various hue. No Turk or Tartar weaver ever brought to ground or pattern a more varied dye. So he's colorful, nor by Arachne was much brodery wrought. I wonder if that's like embroidery. Hello, welcome. As sometimes by the shore the barges lie, partly in water, partly on dry land. And as far in gluttonous Germany, watching their prey, alert the beavers stand. So did this worst of brutes his foreparts fling upon the stony rim which hems the sand. All of his tail in space was quivering, its poisoned fork erecting in the air, which scorpion-like was armed with a sting. Still describing Geryon. My leader said, now we aside must fare a little distance, so shall we attain unto the beast malignant crouching there. So he stepped down upon the right, and then a half score steps to the outer edge did pace, thus clearing well the sand and fiery rain. And when we were hard by him, I could trace upon the sand a little further on some people sitting near the abyss, that what this belt containeth may be known completely by thee. Then the master said, to see their case do thou advance alone. Let thy inquiries be succinctly made, succinctly, efficiently, quickly. To be succinct, to be brief. While thou art absent, I will ask of him with his strong shoulders to afford us aid. Then all alone, I, on the outmost rim of that seventh circle, still advancing trod. He's talking about he's moving on the edge, where sat a woeful folk. Full to the brim their eyes were with anguish were, and overflowed. Their hands moved here and there to win some ease. Now from the flames, now from the soil which glowed, no otherwise in summertime one sees. Working its muzzle and its paws, the hound, when bit by gnats or plagued with fleas or flies or fleas, and I, on scanning some who sat around of those on whom the dolorous flames alight, could recognize not one. I only found a purse hung from the throat of every wight, each with its emblem and its special hue, and every eye seemed feasting on the sight. As I, beholding them, among them drew, I saw what seemed a lion's face and mien upon a yellow purse designed in blue. Still moving on mine eyes athwart the scene, I saw another script, blood red, display a goose more white than butter could have been, and one on whose white wallet blazoned lay a pregnant sow in azure, to me said, what dost thou in this pit? What are you doing here? Do thou straightway be gone, and seeing thou art not yet dead, know that Vitalian neighbor once of mine shall on my left flank one day find his bed. A Paduan I, all these are Florentine. Big deal about these different cities in Italy. And oft they stun me, bellowing in my ear, come, pink of chivalry, for whom we pine, whose is the purse on which three beaks appear? Then he from mouth awry, his tongue thrust out, like ox that licks the snows, a big tongue swirls. And I in fear, lest more delay should stir in him some doubt, who gave command I should not linger long. Me from those wearied spirits turned about. I found my guide, who had already sprung upon the back of that fierce animal, so he jumped on the back of the Geryon. He said to me, now be thou brave and strong. By stairs like this we henceforth down must fall. Mount thou in front, for I between would sit, so thee the tail shall harm not nor appall. Because remember, the tail's got a stinger in it. Like one so close upon the shivering fit of quartan egg that his nails grow blue, and seeing shade he trembles every whit. I at the hearing of that order grew. But his threat shamed me, as before the face of a brave lord his man grows valorous too. On the great shoulders then I took my place. So he climbs on the back, and wished to say, but could not move my tongue as I expected, do thou me embrace, hold me. But he, who other times had helped me among my other perils, when ascent I made, sustained me, and strong arms round me flung. And Geryon, set thee now in motion, said, wheel wheel widely, let thy downward flight be slow. Think of the novel burden on thee laid. As from the shore a boat begins to go, backward at first, so now he backward pressed. And when he found that all was clear below, he turned his tail where earlier was his breast, and stretching it, he moved it like an eel, so he's slithering. While with his paws he drew air toward his chest, like he's pulling there. More terror of Phaeton could hardly feel what time he let the reins abandon fall, whence heaven was fired, as still its tracks reveal, nor wretched Icarus, on finding all his plumage molting as the fat wax grew hot. While the wrong road, his father loud did call, then what I felt on finding I was brought where nothing was but air and emptiness. For except the brute I could distinguish not, I could only see Geryon, the brute, the monster. He slowly, slowly swims to the abyss, wheeling he makes descent. As I surmise from wind felt beneath my feet and in my face, already on the right I heard arise from out the cauldron a terrific roar. He hears this big sound. Whereon I stretched my head with downturned eyes. Terror of falling now oppressed me sore. Hearing laments and seeing fires that burned, my thighs I tightened, trembling more and more like he's holding on tighter. Earlier I had not by the eye discerned that we swept downward. Scenes of torment now seemed drawing nearer wheresoever we turned. And as a falcon, which long time doth go upon the wing, not finding lure or prey, while ha! The falconer cries, descending so, comes wearied back, whence swift it soared away, wheeling 100 times upon the road. Then from its master far sulks angrily, so we, by Geryon, in the deep bestowed, where neath the sheer hewn precipice set down. I don't know why my Instagram just turned on. That's really weird. It's across the room. That's really weird. So we, by Geryon, in the deep bestowed, were neath the sheer hewn precipice set down. He suddenly delivered from our load, like arrow from the string, was swiftly gone. So let's enter the next level. He's ridden this beast down to the next level, and we're going to see what happens next. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think about the themes, the symbols. Add those literary devices. That's what your teachers are looking for. And keep reading. And I will read to you next time. If you go to my Best Tutor Friend 2 and you go to the playlists, you'll see Bedtime Now, and that's for kids. It's Cinderella's the first one. And then we'll continue with this one, which is the Inferno. Hopefully it'll end eventually. Thanks, guys. Subscribe, like, appreciate you.